needs a password manager? We all do, and here's why. Nowadays, more people are using the internet in more ways than ever before. We're using it across PCs, Macs, and mobile devices. Best estimates put the number at more than 2.4 billion active users. Mobile usage is simply skyrocketing. And what are all these users doing? Well, everything you can think of. Sharing information, both public and personal, about our business and our private lives. Watching videos or playing music. Buying, billing, banking, or borrowing. If you can name it, someone is doing it. And that makes
Welcome back to Philippines Uncut. Tonight's topic is cybercrime and security. Joining us still is Paul Oliveria, Technical and Communication Manager of Trend Micro, and Nicholas Ramos, Senior Malware Trainer of Trend Micro, the world's leading company in cybersecurity. Guys, welcome back to Philippines Uncut. Now, interesting video, no? Also courtesy of Trend Micro. We saw 2.4 billion active users on the internet and even more on mobile. So this is a lot. This is a lot of people you guys have to protect, no?
Yeah.
And you said that the R&D is based here in the Philippines, and about 300 or 400 engineers are. This is the backbone of Trend Micro's service for all of us who want to be protected. Now, Nick, what is a typical? I mean, what does it look like when you guys work? Let's say you have engineers. I'm sure you guys have workstations.
Yes.
What is it like?
Okay, so Trend Micro has a very relaxed environment. Okay, but if when you're in the office, one engineer would have like three PCs. Okay, one would be used for normal email production. One would be used to create the detections, and one is used to really analyze. So it's connected in a contained network so that it will not, will not go out to infect other machines.
So three basically workstation has 3 PCs.
Right.
Not your typical workstation, I have to say, no?
No.
Okay. Now, you guys have an army of 400 soldiers, really, and your job is really to detect and to protect and to do all this. What do you have on the other side? Because on the other side, the people who are we're developing all these malware and things like that. I mean, how serious is the threat today of cybersecurity?
Well, it's really serious. I can't emphasize it very enough. I think for the past couple of years now, we've been seeing that, as you mentioned earlier, again, information is, out there. At the same time, information is currency, especially for not just for us, but also for the cyber criminals who are out to get there. So it's very financially motivated in the sense that all the information that we have, it can be translated into something that's worth something for everyone, for anything. Either a cyber criminal, they make sure that whatever information is out there, they take it, they steal it, they sell it in the underground, and just like a business, it's a whole economy that has, they have their specialists, they have the marketers, they have the big boss who makes sure that, he gets most of the money. Right. And it's very regional also. It can go from like one region has a specific threat. And
where are the hot spots in the world for cybercrime? I mean, are there hot spots really where this thing happens a lot? Let's name them. Go on.
Yeah. So, well, we did the research on like several underground markets that we have. So, like we've seen underground economies in China, for example. Their specialty is mostly mobile applications, mainly because they have a lot of third-party app stores out there compared to, like, for example, all of us who are using Android is in Google Play, right?
Yep.
So they leverage on that fragmented economy to take advantage of the mobile market out there. Russia is one of also underground market that we've studied.
You hear that a lot, yeah.
And their specialty is mostly about hosting services, in the sense that most investigations will be blocked because they have a very bulletproof infrastructure. If you want to host, for example, a server wherein it will collect all the data that you stole, it's a good place to have. The Latin American underground, for example, also it's more about solo cyber criminal training, If you want to be a would-be cyber criminal, so they have the best tools and like the easy plug-in tools that you can actually buy for a small
It's
price.
interesting. It's interesting that each country, each region has its own specialty. No,
Yep.
the Philippines.
And they
where
work
would we
together,
fall
essentially.
here in the Philippines? Because I understand that the Philippines, we also have our own share, our own fair share of cyber, criminals. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, well, yeah, we can put it that way. But another thing also is that sometimes the attackers or the threat actors may be based here, but of course they will also be of different nationalities and stuff.
Yeah.
For the Philippines, it's more of a mix and match, I guess. I would say, in a sense that actually we're more victims than criminals, I would say, because we have a lot of mobile users for one, so that's definitely being take advantage of a lot of criminals all over the world. We also have most of the security landscape here are a mix and match also of the old and the new, in the sense that we're still experiencing the old threats, the viruses that
Yeah.
Nick is talking about, and then there's also the usual scams, which are more not really online, but also in a kind of like offline online combination,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
ATM skimmers, for example,
Mhm.
text scams,
Mhm.
and then the point of sale malware where they scrape off the data of your credit cards.
Yeah, yeah. But see, a lot of these things can be prevented by just being careful, no? Like example, the ATM scams or the point of sale scams. Like it's not really high tech if you think about it, no?
Yeah.
How about you, Nick? In your case, di ba parang it's a game of cat and mouse. Diba? You got 300, 400 people,
Yes.
engineers, and you're trying to combat against maybe several tens of thousands of,
Yes.
Right.
from the people who are doing this because they want to make money, and the people who are doing this just for fun, di ba? To
Yeah,
create
that's true.
trouble. Anarchists, really, di ba?
Yes, sir.
So I mean, is Trend Micro? Are we winning? Is there even a chance of winning against these guys? I mean, considering that there's so many of them spread all across the world and also very talented.
Yes.
You have to admit,
Yes.
hey? Can we win? Can you guys realistically, protect us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
How do you stay one step ahead?
Okay, so like for us, for Try Micro, first thing is you have to be aware. I mean, that's the first thing. That's why we in Try Micro, as part of our commitment, is we do train a lot of people, like I've said,
Yep.
law enforcement,
Mm.
for them to be aware what's really going on the underground community, what are really the current security threats. Okay, so that's the first thing.
And it changes very fast. No?
That's right.
I'm sure.
That's
Yeah.
why that's the constant thing that we need to do. We need to adopt. We need to somehow leverage on those technologies that we learn and basically share them to everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if I add also, apart from the 300, 400 engineers that are based here in the Philippines, so obviously we also have some of our threat researchers all over the world as well. We actually have like one virtual team, which we call like the forward-looking threat researchers.
Wow.
And their only job is to make sure that they know what's up next.
Wow.
So are they talking about, for example, the smart devices now? Is the cybercrime going to that direction? That's something that they will test, they will research, and they will provide recommendations. And if whatever their recommendation is, we can go into the solution.
Exciting. I can see. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Being one step ahead of the crooks, and it's very difficult, no? Because you have to be both a
is.
cop and a crook. You have to think like a crook, right?
Yes. Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong. To
Right.
catch people doing this, you have to think like a thief. Like, if I were in their shoes, what would I do? Right? When you look at the system, you look at new technology, how can I exploit this?
Yes.
Very good, very good. Let's talk about the situation in the Philippines. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, but in the Philippines, people seem, in general, to be parang unaware of the threat of cyber crime. What is the situation here in the Philippines?
Well, I think there's already an awareness in the Filipinos, especially because, like I said earlier, so most of the threats that we're experiencing, they kind of like have the real world impact direct.
Yep.
So you get skimmed by the ATM or you feel it already. If it's a text scam, it's obvious, right? So they have an awareness. I think the challenge that some of the Filipinos are facing is, of course, how and what can they do about it. So obviously, we have solutions that are out there, but also the infrastructure and the mindset that we have is also kind of like a very challenge in a sense that, they might be aware, but of the potential threat, but they're still going to internet cafes, for example, because that's the only location that they can have to browse the internet, right? Or the businesses are also aware of the threats, but 98% of the businesses here are small and medium enterprises, which may or may not have the budget to have the security solutions in place. So what can they do? So that's the feeling that I have when we talk to some of the customers here in the Philippines.
How about those SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises? You said may not have the big budgets of the big corporates to really hire, consultants and all these IT. What can they do? I mean, do you guys have products for people, for organizations like this, small to medium size?
Yes. Yeah, we do have solutions. So obviously, we have solutions for small businesses. We also have still the basic or the endpoint protection that they can use. But again, going back to at least it's still going to have part of the awareness and the strategy thinking, in the sense that if you're a customer or if you're a business, you still have to prioritize what types of data or the information that you want to protect. That's also, I guess, that's also the challenge also of some of the businesses as well.
Yes.
They think they're aware of the attacks that are happening, but still the mindset is that will not happen to me. I'm a small business. That is not always the case.
But does it happen to small businesses? That
Yes.
they get hit? I mean, they get targeted and hit? And
Precisely because of the point that they have the money, but they may not necessarily have the infrastructure to
they're
protect
soft
them.
targets.
Yes.
And they're more or less, they're aware, but they don't really invest time and effort to prevent. Now, Nick, in your case, what are the okay, let's put it this way. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, the first line of defense is really the person, the individual. No, I mean, you have to be careful and not be careless and things like that. No,
Yes.
What advice can you give to Filipinos, to people watching now, who want to be to increase their level of protection, to make sure that their online lives are not tampered with? Let's put it that way.
Okay. We always have the best practices that we share with also with our clients and online. Of course, you always have those things that you have passwords. You need to have a very good passwords, and you need to be somehow be cautious about the things you receive online, emails, even on Facebook links. Okay.
Really?
Yes.
Facebook links.
Right. So you should be somehow cautious on double clicking those links, because
So
after
someone posts something and
Yes.
then really,
yes, because that would
Guilty.
lead you to a compromised website,
Yeah.
and later on you'll be downloading another malware.
Yeah, but on social media these days, people share things and something interesting comes up on their feed and
Right.
you click it. How do you know when to click and when not to click?
Okay, so that's why somehow you need to determine is this a event that would really be related to, maybe, for example, like the elections in the U.S.
Okay.
Right? Would a certain link is really related to a real website? Okay, so
Like a reputable website.
Right. So,
okay.
I guess with Trend Micro, okay, we have a website that could check if this website is good or bad.
So you have a product that we can install to help us to screen
Yes.
even
Yeah.
Facebook links and things
Our
like
end
that.
user product
Good,
actually
good.
has what we call the social media protection. So what it does is that it analyzes the links on your feed. But if it's safe, it has like a green check mark. It's safe to open or safe to click.
Now, is this part of the free software? No.
No.
Yeah, but
No, because a lot of users, and I'm sure, I've been guilty about this as well. It's it's easy. It's an easy solution. No? Free, click, download that kind of thing.
but yeah, but if you're unsure about the website,
Yeah.
you could always go to globalsafety.trendmicro.com, and you could basically paste the URL there, and we'll determine if it's good or bad.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Most people on social media want it instantly. You see
Yeah,
a
that's
link,
right.
click. I want to read it now. No more going to another site.
But
click.
that's a free.
Okay, that's
Okay.
guys, we come to the end of the second segment. I'm going to say goodbye now to Nick, because joining us later will be Benji Rivera, and he and you and I will talk about this new extortion racket called ransomware. Okay, so Nick, thank you very much,
Thank you.
and hope in the weeks come or months to come, when you talk about Trend Micro, we can invite you guys again to talk about your training and what you guys are doing to beat the cyber crooks. Thank you, Sick.
Thank you.
Stick around, Paul.
Yeah.
And guys, stick around because more of cybercrime and security when Philippines Uncut returns.
PCs, Macs, and mobile devices. Best estimates put the number at more than 2.4 billion active users. Mobile usage is simply skyrocketing. And what are all these users doing? Well, everything you can think of. Sharing information, both public and personal, about our business and our private lives. Watching videos or playing music. Buying, billing, banking, or borrowing. If you can name it, someone is doing it.
When you're in the office, one engineer would have like three machines, three PCs, okay? One would be used for normal email production. One would be used to create the detections, and one is used to really analyze. So it's connected in a contained network so that it will not, will not go out and to infect other machines.
So three basically workstation has three PCs.
Right.
Not your typical workstation, I have to say, no?
No.
It's here in the Philippines, and about 300 or 400 engineers this is the backbone of Trend Micro's service for all of us who want to be protected. Now, Nick, what is a typical, what does it look like when you guys work? Let's say you have engineers, I'm sure you guys have workstations.
Yes.
What is it like?
Okay, so Trend Micro has a very relaxed environment, okay? But if
And that makes
Welcome back to Philippines Uncut. Tonight's topic is cybercrime and security. And joining us still is Paul Oliveria, Technical and Communication Manager of Trend Micro, and Nicholas Ramos, Senior Malware Trainer of Trend Micro, the world's leading company in cybersecurity. Guys, welcome back to Philippines Uncut. Now, interesting video, no? Also courtesy of Trend Micro. We saw 2.4 billion active users on the internet, and even more on mobile. So this is a lot of people you guys have to protect, no?
Yeah.
And you said that the R&D is based.
Who needs a password manager? We all do, and here's why. Nowadays, more people are using the internet in more ways than ever before. We're using it across